It's Saturday, April 20th, 2024. A lot to talk about today. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe. I'm going to get right into this video today. I hope everybody's having a good weekend. I hope everybody's taking a little time to prepare because things are happening quickly. And most of you probably already heard the news. If you haven't, this is coming from Reuters. U.S. House passes $95 billion Ukraine-Israel aid package. It is now going to the Senate, where more than likely it will be passed and then signed by the president. $60 billion going to Ukraine, $26 billion going to Israel, and $8 billion going to Taiwan. Now, this has no political theme whatsoever. I'm just asking a question. Doesn't matter if you're right, left, in the middle. Who is paying for this? Who in the world is paying for this? We are a bankrupt nation, $34.6 trillion in debt. We're not going to have money in the Social Security Fund, they say, by 2034, which probably really means 2029, 2030. But yet we are writing checks for $95 billion. Where is this money coming from? And the next question is, how come you're not getting any money? We're sending money all over the world. Our country is collapsing. Businesses are collapsing, infrastructure, the educational system in this country is collapsing. You name it, it's collapsing. And we're sending nearly another $100 billion overseas. How does a bankrupt nation do this? Who's paying for this? You guessed it, you are, I am. We're not going to see a dime of this money. We're going to go deeper into debt because of this. This is really alarming. Writing checks this big that we have no business writing whatsoever. This is really, really bad news. Baltimore bridge collapse costing $191 million a day in lost economic activity. But yet the House passes another $95 billion and we're losing $191 million just because of this bridge collapse. This makes no sense to me whatsoever. Why are we not investing this money in ourselves, into small business? We have a homeless epidemic. We have too much poverty. We have food insecurity. We have low-wage jobs. Why are we not investing this in the crumbling infrastructure? Why is none of this money coming back into America? It just seems to be disappearing, going into people's pockets or going to other countries. Very, very alarming. Everybody should really be upset because you're paying for this. Your kids are paying for this. Your grandkids will be paying for this. And unfortunately, this country is going to go deeper into debt. We're going to see more and more inflation. You're going to see your purchasing power continue to be annihilated because of this. We cannot stop spending. This country cannot stop spending. Social Security is supposed to run out by 2034, which really means probably 2030, 2029. Yet we have money for this, but they're not putting money into Social Security. They're taking it out. They're taking it out. Here's one today from Fox Business. Commercial real estate foreclosures jumped 117% in March as trouble looms. This is a year-over-year basis. 117% jump. That is absolutely enormous. But yet we have money to send over to the rest of the world while our cities are collapsing. Our commercial real estate market is apocalyptic at this point. It is beyond collapse. And you're going to see more big trouble in the housing market, in the job market, the bond market, the stock market, you name it. Trouble is coming. It is knocking at the door right now. These things are not going to get away, are not going to go away. And this is why I've been making these videos for nearly 7 years, because the writing was on the wall many years ago. Many of you saw it and began to prepare for it as I did. And now we are getting really, really close to major events unfolding financially and politically right here in America. $300 million commercial mortgage-backed security loan secured by Santa Monica Place Mall faces imminent default. This, again, startling. This is an outdoor shopping mall in Santa Monica. The property back in 2017 was appraised for $622 million. The most recent appraisal put it at $264.5 million. That's unbelievable. And I don't know when that recent appraisal was done. The most recent could have been a year ago, could have been 2 years ago. That building or that mall is not going to fetch $264.5 million. Those days are over. This thing will probably sell for much closer to $200 million, maybe even less. The loan was due in 2019, but was extended to a new maturity date of December 22nd. And guess what? They extended it again to December of 2023. And so here we are. The bad news continues to arise. And I mean, a $300 million default in Santa Monica. I will say this, if you have a mall and it cannot survive in Santa Monica, that's not a good sign for any mall in the United States of America. What bank is going to be on the hook for this default? What bondholder, what pension is going to be on the hook for this default or going to pay a price here? We have a lot of pensions that invested in commercial real estate, and when you have $300 million defaults and a building that is not going to be able to sell for $300 million, you have big trouble. A bank or banks will be on the hook, bondholders can be on the hook, investors, and of course pensions that were heavily investing in commercial real estate over the years. Is your pension involved in this? Did your pension invest in this Santa Monica mall? If it did, not good. King World News, look at who just said China has stockpiled over 30,000 tons of physical gold. Alistair McLeod. The Chinese, he said, saw the danger a long time ago. Many of you did too, and that's why you started buying precious metals. They started accumulating gold off the balance sheet. He says, I reckon they have probably over 30,000 tons of physical gold. What do they know that most people don't? What are they preparing for that most people are not preparing for? You know, somebody asked me today at the gym, an acquaintance of mine, you know, he invests in a bunch of things, and you know, he's a crypto guy. And he goes, hey, are you going to buy some? Are you going to buy some Bitcoin on the pullback? And I said, no, I'm going to buy more gold. And he said, oh, you don't think you should buy some Bitcoin? I said, look, I'm not a gambler. If I was, I'd be going to Vegas, you know, every couple of weeks or every month or every week. I'm not a gambler. This is not a time that I want to be taking risks. This is a time that I want to be protecting my wealth. I said, look, if the internet gets attacked, if the power goes down, the grids get hit, basically you have a worthless entity. We don't even know really, is it an asset, is it a currency? It's some type of entity, it's worthless. If you cannot turn on the screen of your computer, if your phone doesn't work, it is useless. On the other hand, gold is untrackable, unhackable, and untaxable. It works whether the power is on, whether it's off, whether there's a world war, no world war, famine, financial collapse, currency collapse. Gold works anywhere in the entire world. It's just that simple, and it's extremely liquid. You cannot even make Bitcoin without gold. That's how important gold is. So, you know, no disrespect, good guy. And I said, look, people are making money. If you're making money, God bless you. I hope that you get it out before anything happens. There's probably more money to be made in it, but I'm not sitting here. If I want to gamble, I'm going to go to Vegas. I'm not in the position right now to be gambling. I'm in the position to protect wealth, stockpile as much cash and metal as I can at the moment, and protect this stuff the best that I can. But look, if you have the means, if you want to risk some money, have at it. Right now, I'm putting everything away for a very, very rainy day. But again, remember, gold is unhackable, untrackable, and untaxable, and it works anywhere in the entire world. Power, no power, internet, no internet, it's going to work. And It has a 5,000-year history. So if you need help with that, go to my link down below, SD Bullion, or go to your coin dealer, go to wherever you buy. I think that, you know, if you don't have any right now and you're on the fence, probably a good idea to have some, have a little bit put away. Here's another reason why I think it's very, very important to have. FBI warns of risk of Chinese hack attack on energy infrastructure. This on The Hedge today. Christopher Wray, head of the FBI, speaking at the Vanderbilt Summit, said the People's Republic of China has made it clear that it considers every sector that makes our society run as fair game. In its bid to dominate, they plan to land blows against our infrastructure, he said. So that could be our internet, that could be our water systems, that could be our hospitals, that could be our communications, that could be our financial systems. Game on. They are not playing around. And people think that they're not a threat, that, oh, we'll just sanction them if they don't do what we tell them to do. They're too big, they're too powerful, they're too advanced, too sophisticated, ladies and gentlemen, and they are holding all the gold at this point. When you look at, the United States taking Russia's $300 billion, and that's the worst thing that we could have done, because it sent a very, very ominous message to the rest of the world that if you don't play ball with the United States of America, they'll just take your money. They'll just not let you do business. They won't let you trade. But they will confiscate your money and give it to another country. Simple as that. That's not political. That's just a fact. And it's going to have huge repercussions now because the world watched it and China saw exactly what happened. And do you really blame any country now trying to get out of the dollar, dump treasuries, go buy a physical asset like gold, where the U.S. cannot just take it, a very liquid asset that you can go to any other country and buy oil, buy food, buy commodities, convert it into other currencies, put it on an airplane and fly it over somewhere. That's what countries are doing now. That's what is going to accelerate the growth of the BRICS nations. And this is extremely unfortunate because it could have easily been avoided, but we really, really made a huge mistake here by doing this. Cutting off our own nose to spite Russia was a big, big mistake, because if you really think you hurt China, you really didn't. They're making more money than ever. But the message that it sent to the rest of the world, and now you got to think in the future, who's going to buy the U.S. debt? Who wants to be attached to the U.S. dollar? They see how weak we're getting. They see the leadership. They see the manipulation, the control of the currency, the weaponization of the dollar, and countries don't want that. They're scared of that. And they're going to look at alternatives, and they're going to look at gold as a huge alternative. And China is already doing that right now. Here's another one today from The Hedge. Middle class can't afford homes in nearly half of the top 100 U.S. metros, study finds. What's interesting is just 5 years ago, they could afford to buy a home in 91 of the 100 metros. Now, they can't afford homes in nearly half of those top 100 metros. That is unbelievable. Just what a matter of a few years, a couple years can do, right? It's shocking how fast things can happen. This is why when somebody tells you that, oh, that'll never happen, that can't happen, these people are oblivious, because look at what has happened just over the last 3 years. To even think about some of the events that have taken place and events that are taking place right now, and the condition of the average household now financially, world events that have taken place, it is unbelievable. It really is unbelievable how fast things are going, and the type of events that are taking place. You know, things that if you would have talked about this 10 or 20 years ago, people would think you should be in a mental institution. But now it's real. Now these things are really happening. Housing costs are crushing the American middle class. But how can we fix the problem? Well, I would say to fix the problem, you have to let the free market work and stop manipulating it and let it collapse. We need to raise interest rates. Markets need to collapse. When all this collapses, we're going to get true valuation of all these assets, including home prices. They're not going to be the prices you're seeing today. Without a collapse, you're not going to have the chance or the ability to buy a home in the United States. The average middle class income is between $58,000 and $98,000 per year. The average yearly cost of a family home rental is $25,000 a year. I think that's around $2,100 a month. You need to net, this is after taxes, $6,000 a month to be able to afford to do this after taxes. How many people after taxes are netting $6,000 a month? We have too many people now who are spending 50% of their income on a rent payment or a mortgage payment. And this is 100% unsustainable. And this is another reason why, not if, but why the housing market will collapse. And there's multiple factors here. You cannot have millions of people spending 40 to 50% of their income on a mortgage payment. You have to have jobs. You have to have real wages. You have got to lower inflation. And all of this is going against the average home buyer. Insurance costs are going to have to come down. Until all this happens, it's going to be a very, very difficult time for the average home buyer to be able to purchase a house. But all of this is going to be a part of this collapse. It's going to be one of the factors in the next housing collapse. You don't have a job? If millions of people are losing their jobs, you're going to see a housing collapse. If people cannot get approved for a loan, you're going to see a housing collapse. If home prices stay this high as interest rates, mortgage rates are climbing, you're going to have a housing collapse. There's just so many factors adding into this. You just don't have enough qualified buyers. You still have home builders building a lot of homes, more inventory coming, and you just have the headwinds that the real estate market is going to be facing here in the next 6 to 12 months is going to be very, very extreme. To find qualified buyers, people with jobs, people with enough income to afford this, fighting inflation at the same time. And let's not forget, gas prices are going to be going up here very, very soon. This is going to be a mess. It's going to be a serious mess. Business Insider. A wave of retirees is about to blow through their savings. They're going to cling to Social Security to stay afloat. Over 30 million peak boomers are entering retirement financially unprepared. How is Social Security going to stay afloat when you have 30 million people getting ready to retire? And most of these people are not going to, well, they're going to find out that they can't retire. And if they do, it's going to be for a very short period of time because they're not prepared. They don't have enough money. The inflation is eating up their savings and their purchasing power. Everybody that has an HOA, you've seen your HOAs go up. You've seen your property insurance go up. You've seen prices at the grocery store go up. The gas pump, it's going up. Imagine being on a fixed budget. And if you are, comment down below. You know what I'm talking about. If you're on a fixed budget, you're really counting your pennies, aren't you? How are these next 30 million peak boomers going to retire? Somebody answer that. How are they going to retire? They're not. They're going to retire for about a week, and then they're going to be looking for a job at Walmart or Costco or wherever it is because they're not going to be able to retire. And this is going to put a huge amount of stress on Social Security. So we're putting all this money all over the world, but what about Social Security? We have depleted it, just like our strategic petroleum reserves. It is depleted. U.S. parcel revenue sees first decline in 7 years. Report finds smaller. They're blaming it on smaller packages. Nike permanently laying off 748 employees at World headquarters. And the last from CNBC, something strange has been happening with our jobless claims numbers lately. A string of weekly reports showing 212,000 initial claims is raising eyebrows. 5 of the past 6 weeks, the level of initial jobless claims totaled exactly 212,000. Is that even possible? Comment down below. I mean, isn't that a little strange? You talk about how fake all of this is and manipulated all of this is. Now, I mean, it's almost like they're so lazy. Just say 212 for the 5 out of the past 6 weeks. Just put 212 down. 212, 212, 212. You cannot believe any of this data now. All you can believe is what you see with your own two eyes. Go back to yesterday's video and the day before when I was with Sid. We're at the auction, excuse me, the auto auction out in Riverside County, the Mannheim auto auction. We stopped at an RV lot. If you want to see what's truly happening to the U.S. economy, it's a sad, sad sight. But, you know, you have to see with your own two eyes what's going on. You have to understand what is going on. Because if you just listen to the television every day, they're going to tell you things are fine. You should just go out and buy a house today. You should run up your credit cards, go buy a new car. Just, you know, put yourself in more debt. Take a look at what is going on. I can't even imagine some of the cities out here, how much debt and the deficits that some of these cities have right now because they're falling apart. It's shocking when you just take a drive an hour from your house and really pay attention. And along the freeways, I've never seen so many tents and homeless people along the freeways. Out in San Bernardino, we passed an area off Interstate 10 where there was about 70 or 80 dilapidated RVs and shacks in the middle of the desert. People are just living in the middle of the desert. This was a once very, very beautiful state, ladies and gentlemen. It looks, in certain areas, it looks like it's coming out of Mad Max. It is scary. Just seeing the homeless everywhere, the panhandlers on every street corner, the tents along the freeway. It is not a good sign where this is all going. It's not improving, it's getting worse, and yet we're shelling out, you know, hundreds of billions of dollars to other countries. We're not investing in our own, and then on top of that, we're allowing people from all over the world to come in here, and I don't understand how we're going to house all these people when we have tents everywhere. How are we going to house tens of millions of people coming into the country, feed them, get them jobs, when we already have all these people right now that are living in tents and shacks, in cardboard boxes, starving on the streets of America, vets, mentally impaired people, addicts, people that have had some bad luck. You know, they used to laugh 2-3 years ago when I talked about, you know, normal people driving nice cars are going to land up homeless. If you don't have a good church or a family to fall back on, you could be driving a nice car, you could be living in a nice condo today, and 2 years, 3 years from now, you could be on the streets. That's very possible. That has happened. People 3 years ago used to laugh at me when I would say that. People aren't laughing anymore. They're not laughing anymore. When I talked about getting prepared, buying some precious metals, learning self-defense, getting out to the range, putting food and water away, people used to laugh. You understand that because people laughed at you too. You would be ridiculed. Family members, relatives are you know, what's wrong with you? Are you nuts? Why are you wasting your money? Why are you wasting your time? Now, those same people wish that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, they were doing what you were doing because you're prepared, they're not. And many of those people have probably lost a job. And now they cannot prepare. And as sad as it is, millions of people right now are in big trouble because it's too late for them. They cannot prepare. They've lost the jobs. They've lost the cars. They've already been evicted. The credit's been destroyed. They're, you know, not even paycheck to paycheck at this point. They're tapped out on the credit cards. How can you prepare when you're completely broke? You can't. They're sitting ducks. So the people who once laughed and ridiculed you, judged you, they wish they were you now. I'm going to leave it there today. It just, you know, just spending the day out in Riverside and San Bernardino with Sid the other day was, again, another eye-opener, another reminder, reinforces with me that I'm doing the right thing. And I can tell you right now, with what I saw, you're doing the right thing by putting the metals away, the food, the water, training, getting in better shape, learning self-defense, you know, being proficient with those tools, learning skills, investing in yourself. Stay on track, ladies and gentlemen. Without a doubt, let me tell you today, let me reinforce, you are not alone. You are on the right track. You are preparing. You're doing the right thing. What I saw the other day is and was extremely alarming. Stay safe. God bless all of you. Have a good weekend, and be careful out there.